Welcome to my channel, ketomealsandrecipes.com. I'm posting this recipe today because I've been meaning to make this flavor of ice cream for at least a couple years, but I kept forgetting or putting it aside for next time. However, recently I had a viewer respond to my question, what flavor of ice cream or gelato would you like me to make for my channel? Although several people have already requested pistachio ice cream in the past, today I'd like to thank John Paul for your reply to my question and for requesting pistachio ice cream. This is my version of pistachio ice cream, which is a little bit different. It's sort of halfway between an ice cream and a gelato. And it's a fusion of two recipes, a northern Italian recipe and a Croatian version. And the best part of all, I'm going to be using whole, clean, simple ingredients and my keto sweetener. In order that you can determine how much of this tasty pistachio ice cream you can enjoy, the macronutrient ratio for this pistachio ice cream is 5:1, with 2.6 grams of total carbs, 0.5 grams of dietary fiber, resulting in only 2.1 grams of net carbs per 84 gram or 3 scoops of ice cream. Now on this table I'm showing you the ingredients I'm going to be using. I would also like to remind you that you should pre-freeze your ice cream tub if you need to put it into the freezer overnight. But if you're using an ice cream maker that has its own compressor to chill the tub, then do that just before you're ready to pour the custard in. To simplify this recipe, I've bought pistachios that have already been cleaned and dry roasted. And I'm going to toss those into my food processor or bullet. Next I'm going to add my sweetener and then process to a very fine consistency. Next, measure out your unsweetened almond milk and pour it into a saucepan. Drop in your ground pistachios, stir to combine, and the rest of your sweetener, and just stir to combine. Place the spot over medium-low heat. And then just cook, stirring occasionally until everything comes to a light simmer. You want to cook just long enough for the sweetener to completely dissolve. It should take about 5 minutes. And when you're sure that the sweetener is completely dissolved, turn off the element, place the lid on the pot, and let the pistachio almond milk mixture steep for 2 hours. This will infuse the almond milk with that wonderful, rich, full pistachio flavor, which will make a huge difference in the texture and flavor of your final ice cream. Okay, it's been 2 hours, so now it's time to strain my pistachio mixture through a fine mesh sieve. You'll notice that some of the very tiny pieces of pistachio will go through the sieve. That's okay. It'll add a little extra flavor and texture. However, if you want it completely smooth, perhaps you should use a cheesecloth to remove and capture as much of the very small pistachio pieces. Once I've done that and I have just the grounds left in the sieve, I'm going to use my spatula to press against the grounds to try to get even more of the liquid and flavor out. When you've done as much as you can, you'll notice that you have a bunch of grounds left. You can throw it away, but I would very highly recommend that you put it in a container and either store it in the fridge or freeze it for other recipes. It is absolutely delicious, and in my opinion, it's a complete waste if you do throw it away. If I have time, I will post the video in which I use this paste. Okay, having strained everything, it's time to pour this liquid back into my saucepan, to which I'm going to add the heavy whipping cream and 1 more cup of almond milk. Then stir to combine. Now my mixture is too cool to do the tempering process, so I'm going to reheat the pistachio liquid over medium-low heat and bring it to a gentle simmer. The next step is very simple. Just use a fork and whisk your egg yolks. Then, while you're whisking, slowly and in a very light stream, pour your almond milk pistachio mixture into the yolk. This process is called tempering, and you can stop after 1 or 2 cups, but I like to add all of the liquid into my yolk mixture. And then stir very well. Pour this egg and pistachio milk mixture back into your saucepan and cook on low heat, stirring frequently until the custard has thickened. This should take about 8 to 10 minutes. While you're cooking, please stay at the stove top because you must not allow the custard to boil. It will curdle. And if needed, you may need to lower the heat or raise the heat to keep a light simmer. Now my custard base is still very hot and not ready to go into my ice cream machine, so you have 2 ways of chilling it. The first way is to cover the bowl with plastic wrap or cling wrap and refrigerate for several hours or even up to 24 hours. I don't really like this method. I prefer the second way, which is to place a bowl with the hot custard into a larger container of ice water. In other words, I place my bowl of custard into a nice water bath. The next thing I'm going to do is get a relatively large bowl, place my fine mesh sieve on top, and strain one last time to get any other particulates out, such as leftover pistachio bits or if any of the egg didn't cook well. And throw this residue away. It's now time to pour in the vanilla extract and give it a good stir. I'm going to tell you about an optional ingredient, sunflower lecithin. I'm going to add it at this point and stir it in while my liquid is still very hot because it'll blend better. This sunflower lecithin helps to create a nice creamy mixture and, depending how cold your freezer is, helps to prevent large crystals from forming. So even if it freezes and you let it warm up a bit, it'll still be rich and creamy. And when you notice that the custard is quite cold when you dip in your baby finger, pour this cold custard directly into your chilled ice cream machine tub and then set to churn. Some machines like my Breville have settings and I set it to gelato. In most machines like mine, when your ice cream is done, you'll find that it's at a soft serve stage. It has a nice texture and you can have some right away. However, you can also just scoop everything into an airtight, freezer-safe container, transfer everything into that container, place the lid on, and put it into the freezer for 4 hours or until it's as hard as you like it. Since homemade ice cream doesn't have preservative and therefore tends to freeze to a solid if left overnight or for several days, if your ice cream does freeze to a solid, all you have to do is take your container out of the freezer, take off the lid, and let this frozen ice cream rest at room temperature until it gets to a scoopable stage. How long it will take to get to a scoopable stage depends on the temperature of your room. And lastly, all you have to do is just scoop your ice cream and enjoy it. Although I've recommended 3 scoops, this is a really rich and satisfying custard-based ice cream. You may only need 2 scoops. After you scooped your ice cream into your serving bowl, the last thing you can do, get a few of your chopped pistachio pieces and sprinkle it on top, which is what I did. I really hope you will try this tasty, rich, really decadent recipe. I love hearing from you, so please leave me a comment and let me know what you think of this recipe or if you have any questions or suggestions. Most important of all, please come back when I post my next video. And if you like my channel, please share the links with someone that you think might also benefit from my recipes. Until next time, I hope you have a happy and healthy day. Cheers!